And welcome to the Aaron Katsman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katsman. We like to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, at lighthouse with an L, lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatsman.com. That's www.aaronkatsman, aaronkatsman.com. You can find me on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to the brand new YouTube channel at Aaron Katsman. It is my honor to introduce to everybody Yisrael Cohn, who grew up in London, England. So for some of you who are watching in America, we might have to translate. He's got a master's degree in Jewish law from the University of London. He's got a master's degree in clinical psychology from the University of North Texas, and he also is a rabbi. He's got Semicha from Yeshivat Hamivtar in Efrat. He is like Mr. Education, and in fact, he worked for 20 years in the world of education. He now transitioned into a position with the Jerusalem Municipality, working in their Aliyah and Absorption department, assisting English-speaking Olim from around the world settle in Jerusalem. That's what we really want to speak about. He's married. He lives close to where I am. We're neighbors. He's got a great wife and lots of children. Welcome to the show, Yisrael.
Shalom uvracha. How are you doing, Aaron?
We are great. We are great. Thanks so much for joining us. So we spoke a few weeks ago about the economic development of the city, of the capital of Israel, of Jerusalem. And I thought it'd be interesting to bring you on now because the hottest topic in the Jewish community is the buzz around Aliyah. And the numbers of people looking into Aliyah is off the charts. So I thought it'd be great for you to come on and speak about making Aliyah, and especially making Aliyah to Jerusalem. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do for the municipality?
Sure. The Jerusalem Municipality has a department. It's phenomenal. We have the Aliyah department of the Jerusalem Municipality, whose role is really to assist Olim pre-Aliyah and post-Aliyah settle in a city. So I work in a department in our office right now. I work with the English-speaking Olim. They're also French, Spanish, Russian, Portuguese, all Portuguese-speaking people, all assisting Olim integrate from around the world, come to move in Jerusalem. We help people pre-Aliyah, if you're thinking about coming to Jerusalem, help people find the right neighborhood, help people find the right schools for their kids. We have an employment department that assists people to find jobs as well, to settle in the city. And then once you've chosen your community, there are within Jerusalem over 20 minhalim kihilatiyim, is that like a JCC in America?
It's a JCC, yes. They call it a community council. I guess I should come clean and disclose that I actually sit on the board of one of those community councils. So, full disclosure.
So we have in many of those in 18 of the community councils, there are Olim coordinators that assist you once you move into your neighborhood to help you settle in. One of them is Ginot Hayir. Yeah.
So I see on your background the municipality's logo. I believe it says our past, our present, and your future. So I like that. I like that logo. And when you're talking about the future, I think, especially for Olim, there's nothing more important than education. So let's say somebody's coming and, if you're moving to a small community, a yishuv or whatever, it is what it is. But when you're moving to the big city, to the capital, there are literally tens, if not hundreds of choices. How do you help people sort of decide where it's most appropriate to send their children to school?
That's an excellent, excellent question. And the truth is, the services that we have available for new Olim who are choosing schools in the city are phenomenal. There are there are tens of schools here in Jerusalem. So when I come and I think about making Aliyah, and I go to the municipal website and look at the list of schools, it can be overwhelming. But what we've done here in Yerushalayim is that there are a number of schools. There's 8 elementary schools and 8 high schools that are Batei Sefer Koltei Aliyah. Those are schools that we encourage the majority of the Olim go to those schools, 8 elementary schools, 8 high schools, and the majority of the Olim choose within those 16 schools.
Wow.
And the result is that the majority of the resources that are available are concentrated into those schools. So if the education ministry offers certain services, the municipality supplements those services in some of the schools in the city. You don't have to choose those schools, but the majority of the Olim choose to go to one of those schools. And it's amazing actually, pre-Aliyah, we can do a Zoom chat when you're sitting at home in America or wherever you're coming from, or London, you're sitting in one of these exciting cities, and we can discuss options, talk about 2 or 3 schools. You can be in touch with the schools from once you're sitting in Chutz La'aretz, and you can even interview and sometimes even register for school before you land in Israel, which is a phenomenal resource.
That's amazing. Do these schools sort of run the gamut? Religious, secular, the whole thing? I mean, there's like choices for everyone?
Yeah. Well, the schools generally reflect the population that's making Aliyah that year. So there are Mamlachti schools, the state schools that are part of their Koltei Aliyah. We have Mamlachti Dati schools, religious state schools. And we also there's a new type of school here in Jerusalem, in Israel, called a Mamlachti Haredi, state Haredi schools. And there are even state Haredi schools that are part of this program that assist you if you're choosing where to send your kids.
You are listening to the Aaron Katsman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katsman, here to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. As always, if you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, AARON, at lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatsman.com. That's www.aaronkatsman. You can check me out on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe to the new YouTube channel. We're speaking with Yisrael Cohn, who works for the Jerusalem Municipality's Aliyah and Absorption Department, and he helps English-speaking Olim from around the world settle in Jerusalem. And it's timely because, as we all know, as we read, the buzz around Aliyah right now is off the charts. And people, let's hope they actually come, but people are certainly very much interested in making Aliyah. Yisrael, first of all, I was remiss. How can people get in touch with you if they have more questions?
The best way to be in touch is via email. My email is CHIsrael, like this beautiful country, CHIsrael1 at Jerusalem.Muni, MUNI, short for municipality, .muni.il. So CHIsrael1 at Jerusalem.muni.il.
And we'll post your contact information on the notes of the show as well, so everybody can find it. You mentioned employment. So obviously, you've came on Aliyah, and if you've got children, you've settled them in schools now, thanks to the municipality. Now you got to go to work. How do you assist potential Olim in finding work?
That's the truth. Finding work is complicated. I have a colleague that shares a very interesting statistic about finding jobs here in Israel. It's true in Israel. It's probably true elsewhere as well. And that is that close to 70% of people find jobs through networking, through people that they know. So if I see a job posted on a board, that's less likely to be the way that I'll find a job. It's much more about networking than it is about, searching the net and finding a job here in Israel. In terms of networking, there are different programs that we offer. We have for young people, this is good. Anyone who's up to the age of 45 will be happy, because in Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, we have the Merkaz Tzeirim, a young people's program, There's a program inside there called Connect Jerusalem. You'll find them on Facebook, Connect Jerusalem, and they run programs for people from ages 20 to 45, networking programs. They do workshops. They do a huge amount of stuff to help people find jobs. In addition to that, there are various other programs together with the Misrat HaKlita, the Aliyah Ministry, the Jerusalem Municipality, various workshops, courses, ways of people to find a job. There's also one-on-one consultation. We have an employment department that are people that encourage to contact in order to find a job. There are two things. Some people, when you make Aliyah, you choose a job that is below your level. If I'm a senior partner in a particular firm, I may choose a junior position. When I first come to Israel, in a Hebrew-speaking environment, and then I'll improve my Hebrew, almost learn Ilpan for free by choosing a lower level job. And then once I've improved my Hebrew after a year or two, then I'm able to apply for a position that's more suitable for me. And other people go on a different route and they continue in Dafka nowadays, particularly in the COVID era, where there's so much online work. Many people choose, rather than find employment in Hebrew in Israel, using all the resources I mentioned, they continue working in English for companies abroad.
Okay.
Those are really the two things.
Okay, and I guess the last demographic, because you went up to 45, so I guess everybody above 45 is already, out to pasture. Those of us who've turned 50 recently. What do you, thank you. What do you have, Jerusalem is a hot spot for retirees, right? You walk around and you hear, you see lots of retirees. What services do you provide for sort of that demographic who's thinking about making Aliyah?
The Gil Hazahav, the golden era. The truth is, I'm slightly nogea badavar. I have ulterior motives for this particular demographic because both my parents and my parents-in-law live within walking distance of us, actually, right here in Jerusalem. My parents-in-law made Aliyah about just over 2 years ago, and one of the only regrets is that they didn't make Aliyah earlier. There is a very strong seniors English-speaking Olim community here in Jerusalem, and they've created this cultural network. There are, there's lectures and their programs and their workshops that are going on much of the time. Many of them are run by, organizations like the OU, the Orthodox Union. They have a huge center here in Jerusalem, which is incredibly popular with the seniors here. In all of the Minhalim HaKilatiyim, these are the community centers. Each community center reflects the population inside that particular neighborhood. And the neighborhoods that have a larger senior population run programs in East Talpiot. There's a senior Anglos of East Talpiot program, and they run to Olim. So there's both municipal programming, and then also just the population itself has created this community.
Wow. So it seems like, if you ask me, not only is Jerusalem developing economically, but it really is a great place for potential Olim to come and settle. And oftentimes, I think people, from what I see, right, they sort of run to Yishuvim or to smaller communities because it's easier maybe to settle there, and they don't think about the bigger cities as much because they can get lost. But it seems like what you guys are doing is really, helping the immigration process tremendously so that it's comfortable for people to come and make Aliyah to the city of Jerusalem.
Right. There's one point I often make actually about when people feel daunted by the idea of making Aliyah to a city. When you come to make Aliyah, you don't make Aliyah to Jerusalem. No one makes Aliyah to a city. You make Aliyah to a neighborhood within the city. And each neighborhood within the city has its charm, has its character, has its unique facilities. And it's very, very important pre-Aliyah to learn a little bit about the different neighborhoods in the city to make sure that when you choose to come to the right neighborhood. Everybody, you know, when you make Aliyah, you're not moving to the city, you'll still have a next door neighbor and you'll still have a park bench down the road. That the neighborhood atmosphere exists within the cities, just like that it exists in other places, but it makes it particularly important to make sure that you find the right neighborhood when you choose to come.
I love that. That's a great way to describe it. And it's a great way to finish. Yisrael Cohn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's been you've been watching the Aaron Katsman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katsman. We're here to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. As always, if you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, at Lighthouse with an L, lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatsman.com. That's www.aaronkatsman. You can check me out on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Aaron Katsman. It's been a pleasure. Yisrael, once again, thank you very much. And we will speak to you all very soon.